So how ironic is that?
Okay, this is the best ending, I think, of all all we've talked about so far, because I feel like that's true justice. Healthcare horrors. Murder.
Happy New Year, everybody. It's January 1st, so Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a good New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll just leave it at that.
Perfect.
Cool. So it is time for another episode of Healthcare Horrors. I am Ashley, a brand specialist at Atlas.
And I'm Alicia, your veteran recruiter here at Atlas.
And I'm Dolan on the knobs.
Are you messing with stuff over there? Because I keep
it's cutting out.
It's
on
weird
my
cutting
in
ears.
and out. Here, how about that?
It's whenever you touch the cords.
Don't touch it.
Okay,
Don't touch
it's
it.
good.
Don't touch it.
Right. So last time we talked about the skin hunters and the Polish ambulance crew that was more interested in killing people than saving them. But that's what this whole podcast is about.
Yeah, those guys sucked.
Yeah.
What a business plan.
What a business plan.
Yeah, so check that one out if you're curious.
No, don't do anything that the skin hunters did or would do. Dolan's giving bad advice. Just stick to the knobs.
No. I'm saying check out the last podcast.
Oh my God, I thought you were saying like to do it. I was like for a business plan. That's what it sounded like. You're like, what a business plan. And then you're like, check that out. And I'm like, no, don't check that out. Don't do that.
No, check out.
Listen to the
Check
episode.
it out.
Yes.
I just had the pleasure of being on a beer with Atlas on their podcast, and Dolan was the voice of reason, making sure people don't drink and drive.
Good job, Dolan.
And then Rich was over there like, or you could, run errands and then drink some beer and then finish your errands.
Because they were small percenters.
Yes,
they
were.
They were, I don't know, like 4% beers.
Yeah.
Sessions.
But still, you didn't hear that from us.
No.
So who are we talking about today? What did you call her last time?
Linda Lizard, I think,
Linda
is
Lizard.
what he called her.
Yeah.
Something weird. All right.
I know for a fact it was a lizard.
Yes.
It was definitely something. The lizard lady.
The lizard lady.
But Linda Hazzard is her name, a.k.a. the Starvation Doctor. So, just gonna get into it. Are we doing this?
Yeah, it works for me.
I'll start off. So Linda was born in Carver County, Minnesota, and we are going back in time a little bit to 1867. She was born Linda Laura Burfield, and her parents were Susan and Montgomery Burfield. I'm not sure if she had any siblings. Did you find anything about siblings? I think there was mention of her having siblings, but it never said anything about how many. So Montgomery Burfield, her father, kept the family on strict vegetarian diets because he heard from a physician that there's something about intestinal parasites. So he kept the family on a weird diet. And this doctor also prescribed, I don't know about the whole family or just the kids or what, but Linda was at least taking pills that had mercury to supposedly help with intestinal parasites, but this caused vomiting and diarrhea. And so from an early point in her childhood, she was just having negative experiences with food and eating. She was angry. I mean, she couldn't eat normal portions because of the weird mercury pill. And then another physician tried treating her stomach problems, apparently unaware of what she was already taking. So this doctor told her to take calomel, and this caused her to start losing her teeth. So
not going
just
well.
like super rocky, poor girl. So finally in 1886, Linda is 18 years old, and she moves out with a 32-year-old husband, Irwin Perry. They end up having 2 children, but Linda didn't really like being a mother. She wanted to focus more on a medical career as her marriage deteriorated. And her focus in in the medical career was, I'm totally going to butcher this, autopathy. There we go. Autopathy. I'm sure there's different ways you can say it. But that's like holistic healing. She read a book called The True Science of Living, The New Gospel of Health, a book by an army surgeon named Edward H. Dewey. This was in 1895, and the book was about the natural approach to healing, and it was about rigorous fasting and how it could heal the body. So that, I think, is how she was just introduced to this whole method and way of thinking. She reached out to Dr. Dewey about training her in his methodology, which he kept ignoring her, and finally he did. So she just kind of like took it upon herself and was like, I'm the next in line to like carry this on, kind of thing. In 1898, her husband apparently disappeared. It's kind of unclear if he disappeared or if she left him.
Okay.
I guess. So I don't know if
he
you
just
found
is
anything
done in
different.
the picture. No,
Yeah,
I didn't.
Just pieces out.
He's like, no, I'm done with this. Thank you. I'd like to eat my meals.
And as far as I know, she is left with the kids, but from like here on, I don't read anything further about the children.
I don't think I saw anything about her having children, period.
Oh, okay. At this point, they are NA. Not sure what happens to them.
It's all about Linda, guys.
Yeah, it really is. She's very self-centered. So even though they are split up in 1902, a divorce is finalized, and Linda moves to Minneapolis, where she decides to set up shop downtown as an osteopathic specialist, which is again like about whole person healthcare, whole person approach. And she claims to be a doctor, even though she is not.
Yes, so she has no medical degree at all, but is somehow licensed to practice medicine.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
What?
Yeah.
Do you know how she got her license, or is that kind of unknown?
Well, I know in the state of Washington, it was through a loophole that was grandfathered in. So she got grandfathered in through some because she was working with alternative medicine.
Right. It's
so
like
she
a methodology
didn't need
thing.
Like a technical medical degree, because
like she's not a surgeon or anything. So, I mean, obviously at this point, if you were doing this, yes, you would need a license. But yeah, there was a loophole where it's like, technically, I guess.
We don't think your medicine's really medicine, but like someone thinks it's medicine. So here's your grandfathered in ability to work as a doctor.
She was also very arrogant. And this just, I don't know, just like the way she carries herself makes her successful, I guess, in what she's doing. She's just, I don't know.
You just have to have confidence.
Very confident, and people will just believe you.
Yeah,
basically.
100%. If anything we've learned over the course of, since we started this podcast is that if you are just confident, you can honestly just do anything.
It's like those people who hold they did a whole video where they wear the orange construction vests, and then they hold a ladder, and they can literally get in anywhere.
Yeah. Anywhere.
Like they just walk around with a ladder, and they get into movie theaters. They got into a festival.
Oh my gosh.
And people are just like, oh, guys with a ladder, like, come on in.
Get out of the way.
You are giving me phenomenal ideas. I don't want to pay $4,000 to see Adele. So
there you go.
Put my jacket on and get my ladder.
$4,000?
Yeah. There's been all these memes like, hello from the parking lot. Like,
oh,
paying $4,000 for she's doing I know this is totally off topic, but she's doing a residency in Las Vegas, and it's like $4,000 a pop.
What?
Wow.
I thought $400 was a lot to see Pink. Like, I wouldn't even pay $400. I don't even pay like the $200 to get like to go see Slipknot and get a picture with them, and they're my favorite.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. So,
okay, back to the murder.
Back to the important parts.
Back to Linda. Linda Burfield. Still, she's not Hazzard yet. So her first victim is named Gertrude Young, who suffered a stroke, and she did not have feeling or function in one arm and one foot.
So she seeked out alternate methods. You look like you have something.
No, honestly, no.
No, I'm fine. I swear.
Oh my gosh. So yes, she had a stroke. It's 2 years after the fact that she seeks out help from Linda. But if you have a stroke and you don't have feeling, and it's 2 years later, like the chances of you regaining feeling or function is very slim. It's probably not going to happen, but she was hopeful that somehow fasting would work. So even though someone like this would also actually need more nutrients and calories after having a stroke. But anyway, so in October, Gertrude begins a 40-day fast. 33 days in, she's vomiting and exhausted. She's chilled. The attending nurse to Gertrude goes behind Linda's back and gets a hold of a doctor. And the doctor, of course, is like, stop, you need to eat. But Gertrude, now at 105 pounds, refuses to stop fasting and dies 39 days into the treatment. Her autopsy obviously shows she died of starvation, dehydration, and I thought this was kind of interesting. There was very little blood left in her body. So I guess when you fast to that extent and you're dehydrated, like your blood you're iron deficient, so your blood like decreases.
Interesting.
So there's very little blood left in her body. So city newspapers mention that Linda is up for a murder trial, and since Gertrude technically voluntarily underwent this treatment, she was an adult, the case was just closed and Linda got away with it.
Rough.
I mean, it's true though, like,
wow.
You know, she was even told by a doctor to stop, and she's like, no, I want to keep going, and
it just sucks that, it just sucks. Because, she's thinking, I can trust this Linda lady.
Mm-hmm. She's a doctor, kind of, not really.
Yeah.
So in 1903, we introduce Samuel Hazzard, who is already married, but he frequently runs into Linda because one of Linda's patients lives next door to him and his wife, Viva. They, of course, kind of start having an affair. They claim to be business partners. I'm not sure what Sam does at this point. I'm going to assume it's something in the medical field if they claim to be business partners.
Maybe he's got money and he's just like her investor or whatever,
Yeah.
Investor.
That could be. Linda interferes with their marriage. And Sam ends up marrying Linda while he's still married to Viva.
No kidding.
And on their wedding night, Sam goes home to Viva instead of with Linda. It's a mess.
Does Viva know?
Yes. Viva eventually finds out, and in 1904, Sam's accused and found guilty of bigamy. He goes to jail for this, and he still can't choose between Linda or Viva. And come to find out, Sam does have a history of alcohol abuse, and he's obviously very dishonest. Like, he's ran out on bills and stuff like that. So he's kind of sketchy.
Choose between Linda or Viva. I'm married to them both illegally. Feel bad for me.
Feel bad for me. Finally, in 1906, Sam gets out of jail and he chooses Linda, and they flee to Washington to just kind of get a new start on their life together,
Viva got away with good
poor
for her.
Viva.
No, I think Viva, she should cut her losses. She's that's a blessing.
Yeah.
Viva la vida.
What's happening today, guys? We don't know. Like, it's all right. Man. It's great.
So Linda I have written down Linda applies for a medical license so she can have an office in Seattle. So maybe she gets a medical license, but she still technically doesn't have training or anything. So there's still that loophole.
Yeah. So she has no medical degree whatsoever, and she got licensed to practice in Washington. Through that loophole, it allows practitioners to practice without medical degrees if you're practicing alternative medicine, I guess.
Yes, once she opens her new little office in Seattle, she claims that she can heal epilepsy, cancer, insanity, heart problems, and she absolutely loves reporters. Of course, she loves attention. People like randomly stop in her office and be like, "What do you do?" Like they're just kind of curious.
She's like, "Let me tell you. Let's get you on board here.
Yeah.
Are you hungry? You won't be, or you really will be."
Oh gosh,
this is just how I imagine her doing business. Like, does your knee hurt? Starve.
Yeah. It'll cure everything.
Headache? Stop eating.
It's a cure-all.
Well, and she did. She thought it was a cure-all. She thought it was going to cure all manner of illnesses and rid the body of all the toxins that could cause imbalances.
Nope. All right. So 37-year-old Daisy Moore Hagland is her next victim. She does not eat she cannot have any meat. She only has broths. She's told to go on lots of walks, get lots of exercise, and Linda introduces a special treatment or a massage, but she's really just beating the person, and she claims that it's for blood circulation, so she gets away with beating people, apparently.
You just gotta swish it around in there, you know? I just gotta hit you here, and it'll flow over here.
Yes. And then she starts introducing daily enemas, which I didn't know what enemas were until this podcast, so I don't know if you guys know. But yeah.
Dolan,
for
do
those
you know
who
what
don't
an enema
know,
is?
you have a very blank look on your face.
I have a feeling I know what it is, but I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
It's what they give you when you can't go number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're inserting liquid or gas into your rectum to empty the bowels. And it's okay to do every once in a while if you're having tummy problems. But she does it like every day, if not multiple times a day to these people. Or we'll have a nurse do it.
I really feel like her dad treating her with mercury and her being constantly throwing up and like having diarrhea is really where a lot of this is coming from. And I don't know if like she just thought that was normal and that's how you get rid of things in the body.
Yeah.
But her dad scarred her for life, and I'm blaming her dad.
Yes.
Linda's an adult and she makes her own decisions, but I really, really gotta say I blame Montgomery here.
I wonder what the deal was with mercury at this time and before. Like they cured everything, or they tried to cure everything with mercury.
I don't think that they knew that it was poisonous.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know this is unrelated, but it's just like when they used to dye, like this emerald green dye, but they were using arsenic to do it. So all these ladies were, having sores and dying from wearing all these green clothes.
I remember hearing about that.
Of the arsenic. So I think it's like the same thing. Like they don't realize like
what it's doing. Yeah.
Like it's not helping at all. It's harming very much so.
Yeah.
I just think they don't know.
They don't know. I mean, you got to find out eventually, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully you
just
find
like
out
recruiting.
before you die.
You don't know what you don't know about recruiting. And I feel like that's what I have learned a lot from these historical incidents.
Needless to say, Daisy dies 50 days into her treatment. She dies on her 38th birthday.
That's sad.
I do also have that Linda wrote and self-published a book in 1908 called Fasting for the Cure for Disease, just to kind of outline her belief and basically cover her ass to make herself seem more reputable. Like, I have a book out, so...
She ended up writing 3 books.
Yeah, this was her first one.
Yep.
And she actually gains a lot of patients from this book, and even, like, in other countries, and plot twists, like, or spoiler alert, like once she does go to jail, people are still dying from reading her book and trying to follow her fasting. Oy.
So she's the gift that keeps on giving, the gift that keeps on taking.
Yeah, I just can't stop. And you could probably find her book still, sadly.
Yeah, you can buy...
He's Googling it, yeah.
You can buy her books for $8 on Amazon.
$8?
$8.
That's steep for these lies.
Well, that's the paperback. You can get the hardcover for $23.95.
See, this is why, look, I love to read books and all of that good stuff, but you can't just say I read it in a book and just believe it.
Yeah.
But it's in a book, so it must be true. It's just like the internet.
So it is the book, but there is someone else involved, Heath D. Alberts. And then I guess, I don't know, it must be for like research, because on the back of the book it says the medical book that led to murder. So
okay, well, interesting.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. So it's not like just her book out there. I guess somebody, said, hey, this book is here, but it's also...
Don't follow it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad
That's
that
awesome.
someone took that initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, so yeah, she publishes her first book. We move on to February 1910. Earl Edward Ergman goes into treatment for gastrointestinal discomfort. And so he starts undergoing Linda's treatment. And while he's fasting, he actually keeps a diary of what he was surviving on during this time. And I printed it off the internet, and it's like nothing but like mashed tomato soup, specifically tomato. And he eats a lot of oranges or just juice from the oranges. So both things are very acidic, which can be kind of harsh on the body if like that's all you're eating.
There's nothing to absorb all that acid. And, Yeah.
And then like in his diary, and I don't have to like read through all of it, but he kind of mentions like, oh, I slept good this night or didn't sleep good this night, and I've been having really bad back aches and stuff. So he just kind of, I don't know. It's interesting. He keeps a little diary about everything. One of his friends eventually realizes like what you're doing is killing you. So his friend calls him an ambulance, but Earl dies in the hospital when they were trying to give him a blood transfusion, because again, he didn't have much blood left in his body. I'm not sure how many days into the fast he made it, but he did not survive it.
So far, her methods are not working.
And in the newspaper, there's a whole bunch of headlines about woman MD kills another patient. But again, these are consenting adults, and these are just her methods that they agree to try. I guess we're moving on to the treatment center that she wants to build in Olalla, Washington.
Yes. So she established a sanitarium, which is what it was called Wilderness Heights in Olalla, Washington. And the patients there, just like her, what was his name? The most recent one, Edward?
Earl Edward Ergman. Yeah, Earl.
Well, the inpatients here had a similar diet to Earl. So they fasted for days, weeks, and months, and their diet consisted of small amounts of tomato, asparagus juice, which would be so gross, and occasionally orange juice. So they're not eating much, they're just having some juices. And while some of the patients did survive and then publicly, of course, endorsed Dr. Linda, call her Mr. We're just never going to call her anything correct.
Lizard.
The lizard lady.
The lizard lady.
They publicly endorsed her methods, and dozens died under her care. So, you've got people who are dying, and then the people who survive and think her method was amazing are out there promoting it, and it just leads to more chaos. Linda Hazzard claimed that the deceased had succumbed to undisclosed and undiagnosed illnesses, such as cancer or cirrhosis of the liver. So she's just passing the buck. And everybody else was like, no, I'm pretty sure they all died of starvation. And the people who lived in Olalla, Washington, referred to that sanitarium as not Wilderness Heights, but Starvation Heights.
Bum, bum, bum.
Which is also the title of another book that you can buy to read about this.
Greg Olson wrote that book.
It is. It is one of the first things that pops up on Google when you look up Linda Hazzard. So in 1912, she was finally convicted of manslaughter for the death of a Claire Williamson, which was a wealthy British woman. She weighed less than 50 pounds at the time of her death. At the trial, it was proven that Linda Hazzard had forged William's will and stolen most of her valuables.
Mm-hmm.
So not only is she starving people to death, but now she's stealing all their stuff.
Wait a minute. She weighed less than 50 pounds.
50 pounds. I think that was what I weighed in the 3rd grade.
Wouldn't you look at yourself and be like, man, I'm sick? Like,
but this is what happens when you trust.
Yeah.
Well, you want to trust healthcare professionals. I'm not going to call her a healthcare professional because she had no medical license or medical training. Just her, her studying under Edward Hooker Dewey.
Mm-hmm.
That's like her only medical training whatsoever, and she just basically, didn't really get training.
Well, that's good enough.
So yeah, I mean, I would look at myself and be like, yeah, maybe this isn't right. Also, I don't feel good.
Right.
Yeah. I don't even know. Do you talk about Dora at all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, I don't even know why they went in to see Linda to begin with.
Yeah. So Claire's sister Dorothea also took the treatment, and we don't know. I don't think it says why either of them are taking part in this, but she only survived because a family friend showed up in time to remove her from Wilderness Heights. So they're both like in the Starvation Heights, Wilderness Heights, that center. And it's suggested that one of the sisters managed to smuggle a telegram to alert their governess, who lived in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time of the telegram arrived, Claire had already died. And then Dorothea was too weak to leave on her own, and she weighed less than 60 pounds. Mm-hmm. And then, she survives and testifies against Linda Hazzard.
Wow.
Yeah.
60 pounds. If I even got close to like 110 pounds, I'd be like, girl, you need to eat. You're not okay. So like 60 pounds, and you don't know how tall these people are, but I would imagine, I don't know, but 60 pounds for any adult human being is like, that's insane.
Absolutely.
So Linda Hazzard was sentenced to 2 to 20 years in prison, which is a really random
it's a long
sentence.
Yeah, very big difference.
2 to 20, which she served in the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla. She was, in fact, released on parole on December 26th of 1915 after serving 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the following year, Governor Ernest Lister, or Leister, I don't know how it's pronounced, gave her a full pardon.
What?
Yes. So then...
And this is only based on the one death from there, or is this based on the last 3 or 4 we talked about?
I think she only is charged with the death of Claire Williamson.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. So she gets her full pardon, and then her and good old Mr. Samuel Hazzard moved to New Zealand, where she practiced as a dietitian and an osteopath until 1920.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 5 years
in
New Zealand?
5 years in New Zealand.
Yes. So in 1917, a newspaper reported that Linda Hazzard held a practicing certificate from the Washington State Medical Board, and because she used the title doctor, she was charged in Auckland, New Zealand, under the Medical Practitioners Act for practicing medicine while not registered to do so.
Oh.
She was found guilty and fined £5 plus costs, which is approximately $600 in New Zealand money, or US dollars is $462.13. So, I'm sure that's a lot of money for back in 1920 or 1917, excuse me. So then, because that wasn't going well, she decided she's going to return to Olalla and opened a new sanitarium known publicly as a School of Health, since her medical license had been revoked. So now she's running this School of Health, which she has absolutely no certifications to do either. So then she continued to supervise fasts until a sanitarium burned to the ground in 1935, and it was never rebuilt.
Yeah, I think... Oh, go ahead.
And that was the end of her... No? She continued?
Well, she dies.
And so,
in the fire?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Wow.
These people are
what a letdown.
These people are so greedy too. Like while the place is burning down, I think some of the people that worked there tried saving like the really nice oak front doors. And Sam was like, no, let them burn, because they just wanted to collect the insurance money. And a lot of the people that died and, you know, they made victims and stuff, they wanted to try and collect their money or deeds or jewelry, clothes.
So this Sam guy was
he's nitty gritty.
involved.
Yeah, he was definitely her helper.
Yeah, so I mean, I assume that they probably set fire.
Yeah, I don't know.
The sanitarium.
We don't know how the fire started. Maybe they're just like, we're done. Let's just burn it down and collect the money.
I bet. Well, I have a feeling. I don't know. This is just my own thoughts, but they probably just like took everyone's valuables and like hid them away and then just lit it on fire and said, oops.
Oopsie.
Now we'll get insurance money too. Well, don't worry.
Theoretically.
Linda Hazzard gets what's coming for her because she dies of starvation in
Twist.
1938.
Yeah.
While attempting a fasting cure. It cured the world of her existence.
wow.
Yep. She tries to prove that her methods worked by fasting herself, and it killed her. So how ironic is that?
Okay. This is the best ending, I think, of all all we've talked about so far, because I feel like that's true justice.
Yeah.
You starved yourself to death. Like, it just... she must have really truly believed then that what she was doing was working for these patients.
And that the people that died didn't do it right, or
probably, or they were already sick with something else. Something was already wrong with them.
Well, she got a taste of her own medicine.
Literally.
Yep, absolutely. The other people that did die, she would claim they died of like pneumonia and stuff like that. There was one person that either her or Sam ended up shooting.
What?
Because they couldn't pay. I'm trying to remember the dude's name, but
so interestingly, like very like hokey and money motivated, but clearly believes in the work that she's doing because she's willing to do it to herself. So there's just a lot going on there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still kind of some of those doctors today that sell an alternative thinking or mindset or medicine or healing or whatever you want to call it. Especially now, you see some of them with the COVID vaccine and stuff going around. Like, there's doctors that are selling people on an alternative thing.
Oh, man.
And
here's my thing. My thing's safer.
Yeah.
Do my thing.
Yeah. Come be my patient. Pay a yearly subscription and we'll teach you all about it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's always an alternative method. I think the guy they shot, so they worked with a British nobleman named Eugene Wakelin, and since he was like a British nobleman, like he just sounds like he's made of money. But Linda says that he killed himself, but his body was found like on her grounds somewhere, but the body was too decomposed to determine if the bullet wound was self-inflicted or not. But yeah, in the end, they found out he did not have money and he couldn't pay. And she actually, she was a sneaky little thing too. She sent Eugene's attorneys in New Zealand an invoice to pay for the funeral costs. She was power of attorney, so she got any money that he had. There was another victim that she just got people to sign everything over to her, and so she could wire money from an account in Canada or something. She was just sneaky. Even the Williamson sisters, she had them sign that Linda was their legal guardian or whatever.
What? Well, and it says she was forging documents as well. But imagine you don't have enough money to pay someone to tell you to starve yourself, so then they shoot you.
Yeah.
I would be on my way to haunt some people for a long time.
Yeah. Her name was Dorothea. You said Dorothea Williamson? Because I just had Dora written down. I guess I didn't know it was Dorothea. But yeah, Claire and Dorothea Williamson, that was probably her most infamous or famous case that obviously got her into some jail time.
I can't believe she did 2 years and then got a full pardon.
Yeah.
And then went to New Zealand.
I know, but New Zealand's like, we're smarter than America.
Right? They're like, and no.
Yeah.
Sorry, lady, you can't do that here.
But through the Williamson sisters, you get some insight of what it was like at the sanitarium. The family member, or I think you said governess, I had that it was a nurse that was like almost like a mother figure to Claire.
It's whoever's supposed to be in charge of them, I think.
Okay.
You know, like, because like governess, nurse, like, what do you call it? Like a nanny. It's just like really whatever random adult is legally, I think, in charge of your care.
Yeah. Claire and Dora weren't like real sisters, but they like basically grew up together because I think they lost both of their moms, and they just went through a lot together, and they like traveled the world together and everything, and somehow landed up in the sanitarium. But
they had a stomach ache and said, let's go see Dr. Linda Hazzard. Oh, we live here now.
And the nurse or governess, Margaret Conway, like by the time she got to the sanitarium, Claire was dead already, but she was like, Dora, we need to get out of here. Dora didn't want to leave. And another patient reached out to Margaret and was like, we're all being like held prisoners here. Can you help me get out of here? But Margaret wasn't leaving without Dora, who eventually they got to leave through Margaret. And they had an uncle that lived in the States too, and he helped.
I wonder what she was saying to like manipulate these people into like, because they clearly totally bought into her starvation juju.
Absolutely. And well, and like you said, forgery, and these people got so like weak and delirious that like
at that point,
Sam would even write their letters. Yeah. And they controlled the mail, so if anyone tried reaching out for help, they
totally knew what they were doing. I'm just like so confused though, because obviously she bought into it, but they were also totally conning people at the same time.
Which is so weird to go out the way she did, because you would think that she would believe, like she truly believed in what she was doing. Like it's almost like she told these patients something for so long that she
believed
started
it herself.
to believe it herself. Yeah.
Even though they're all dying. And then she's taking all of their possessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
confusing.
Claire and Dora like give Linda like their deed and jewelry and money, and they were just,
what you need that for, Linda?
Yeah. And one of them was even questioning safekeeping, and because they like started the treatment while they were living in their own apartment, and then once the sanitarium was like done, they got transferred to the sanitarium, but they couldn't even like walk themselves. They had to like go by stretcher, I think, because they were like so weak.
I would be so afraid to like put a 50-pound human being on a chair. Like, sorry, I think you just have to stay.
You might just break if I pick you up. So yeah, the place was like just built like a prison, starving people, and like once you were in, it was kind of hard to get out. And
kinda
that's really sad to get out. So yeah, I mean, she did it. She was super successful, like we said, just because of how she carried herself successful. She found herself successful, I guess, because she was confident and carried herself and was arrogant and just knew what she was doing, I guess. And Sam helped with a lot. So,
well, Sam didn't help anything. Sam should have just stayed by himself somewhere.
He should have stayed with Viva.
No, poor Viva. I'm happy for Viva.
I don't know.
Yeah, Viva really got out of a bad thing.
Yeah,
sounds like.
Who knows what he would have done instead?
All he did, all Sam did was enable Linda. So
yeah. All right, so yeah, that's the crazy story of the Starvation Doctor. Dun, dun.
Don't do anything that Linda Hazzard would do.
Yeah, for God's
your
sake,
vegetables.
eat. Yes, just eat.
Burritos, eat steaks, eat salads, eat whatever you want, just eat.
Right, Dolan?
Yes.
And if you're not feeling good, go see a real doctor.
Yeah.
Check their credentials.
For sure. All right, so next up, in 2 weeks, we are going to be talking about Beverly Allett, she is one of the notorious angels of death in Europe. So, yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. Woo!
Yeet.
Murder. No, it's murder, not yeet. Oh, gosh.
Murder.
Oh, my God.
Murder.
Thank you for listening to Healthcare Horrors, brought to you by Atlas MedStaff. Just a reminder, we are not healthcare professionals. We are just fans of true crime, talking about some of history's darkest moments in healthcare. Stay tuned, stay healthy, and stay safe.